We are here to discuss legal issues facing insurance agents with my guests, attorneys Harvey Heller and Richard Mitchell. Rick, what duty does an insurance agent or broker owe to an insured coming to that agent's office to purchase an insurance policy?
Well, Henry, actually the duties of an insurance agent in Michigan are fairly narrow, and the Michigan Supreme Court has distinguished the duties of an agent from a licensed insurance counselor. Basically, an agent has a duty to obtain the insurance that the applicant has requested. There is no duty to advise the potential insured of the adequacy of the coverage, to explain the limits, or to compare the coverages to make sure that the insured is buying some type of coverage that the agent thinks should be purchased. Those are more the duties of an insurance counselor, and that's governed specifically by statute. Now, there are circumstances where those duties can be heightened. For example, if a question is asked of the insurance agent and the agent gives improper advice or an incorrect answer, or if there is a question that's asked that's ambiguous and it requires some kind of clarification and the agent does not do that, or where the agent undertakes some duty that he wouldn't otherwise have, but takes that duty and performs it improperly. But generally speaking, the law is fairly favorable toward insurance agents in Michigan at this point.
Harvey, what are some of the areas where these factors come into play and the law becomes an important issue?
Invariably, the application process, Henry. You know, my father was a life insurance agent from 1957 on, and I was quite struck by the fact that when he wrote my first insurance policy for me, he simply came to me, and of course I was only 8 years old at the time, and he said, just sign right there. And everything on top of it was filled in. And I used to go with him on appointments and at people's homes, and he really did the same thing. He took their questions, he answered gave them the questions, he wrote down their answers for them, and he asked them to sign the application. That was in a simple world when you were simply buying either whole life or term insurance.
But there's a lot of trust, and people would rely on their insurance agents and just fill out the form and sign.
Exactly. What happens is, when we get into questions about such questions as cigarette smoking and treatment for alcoholism, and the insured doesn't give the accurate answer, but the agent fills it out that way anyway. In other words, denies smoking, denies using alcohol, and 3 months later, the insured is diagnosed with lung cancer or cirrhosis, some problem like that. He then comes back and says, well, I told the insurance agent that, he just didn't write it down correctly. Well, then the answer is, but you signed the form. He said, he just told me to sign it and didn't give me an opportunity to review it. This happens time and time again. And now, with electronic applications going on in the media, with the insurance agents doing it on computer and just sending it in and there's no signature required, it really becomes a swearing contest.
Rick, how can agents or brokers in this area protect themselves?
You know, really the most basic answer is the most common sense answer, and it is good customer service, follow-up, and documenting that follow-up. A lot of times the policy itself comes from the company rather than the agent. The agent will sometimes take the application, send it to the company, and that's the last that the agent hears of that application for a while. And then you have a problem when a loss occurs before the policy is actually delivered. The agent really needs to follow up, make sure the policy is delivered, and make sure that the customer and the insured is properly serviced, and that the insurance agent's file, documents that he or she did so. You know, one of the things we always tell our agents and broker clients is, send a letter, whether you're delivering the policy or the policy is coming from the company. Send a letter anyway. Make clear in the letter that the policy is enclosed or is forthcoming. It contains conditions, it contains exclusions, and you should read it carefully. Make sure that it, frankly, matches up with the application, which addresses the issue that Harvey was discussing. And read it, and if you have any questions, contact the agent or contact the company. It seems a little thing, but just that personal service and documenting it really goes a long way toward protecting the agent's legal rights.
I might also add here that insurance companies have taken the bull by the horns here too when it comes to disability policies and health policies where health is important. In addition to the application being filed, whether by hand or electronically, the insurance companies will conduct their own independent phone interview of the insured in addition to the physical that they're required to take to go over the questions again on the application and make sure the responses are the same. It's sort of a fail-safe mechanism to reduce these kinds of claims. But they are out there.